Hello and welcome to another video. So today I want to discuss with you guys the nutrition portion of starting a fitness journey. I know sometimes we make things way more complicated than what they need to be. One of the biggest mistakes that we make is that when we want to start a fitness journey, or we're just ready to just get into a healthier, balanced lifestyle, the first thing and the biggest mistake that we do is start removing food groups out of our diet. And that is one of the biggest mistakes that we do, because starting a fitness journey or getting into a healthier routine does not mean what items need to be removed from your everyday meals. And that is the misconception when starting a healthy lifestyle. So I know that's probably against everything we've always done in the past, but it's something that you should think about when starting your fitness journey. Is not what am I going to remove, but what more can I add? I think that is so important to make sure that we add foods that we need, that we love, and food that is going to be able to give us a healthy, balanced lifestyle long term. Because in reality, how many times have you started a meal plan or done any health program that provided you a meal plan, and how did you follow it? It's easy to follow something for a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month, and not get tired of the food right after. And then you quit, and then you just start going back to food that you love. So I think that is why it's so important to start eating the food that you love, eating it in moderation, and recreating your favorite dishes. Every meal that you can possibly think of can be recreated to fit your lifestyle. And it doesn't mean that you can't eat it the way a recipe calls for, but if you really want to change your lifestyle and lose some weight, there's always ways to recreate your favorite meals, your favorite desserts. So don't think that you have to remove everything out of your diet. You don't. And I think that is very important to know, probably at the beginning of your fitness journey. It's important to know how much you're eating. And then many times, many people lack a lot of the macronutrients your diet should have. And what are your macronutrients? Your carbs, fats, and protein. Those are the main macronutrients that you should be creating your meals off of. And I think that's why when I work with someone, that is one of the things that I immediately have them start looking at. Not necessarily putting them on a restricted calorie diet, or not, telling them we're going to remove all these meals out of your day. Absolutely not. One thing that you need to understand is, what are you putting in your body? And many of the times you will realize that you are lacking so many macronutrients, or at least one of them or two. And many times people lack healthy fats and protein. Those are the two that a lot of people struggle to get into their diet. I remember years ago when I started my own fitness journey and started learning about the macronutrients that my body required. I was so shocked. on how little fat I was eating. I literally was eating zero fat at that time, and protein was very minimal. I wasn't getting enough protein that my body required. And those are the two macronutrients that I had to learn how to incorporate into my diet. And is it difficult? Yes, it is very difficult, especially when you come from a mindset of restriction. I know that, I grew up restricting myself for so long and thinking that less was always better, when in reality, it's not. You have to be able to eat enough calories in order for your body to want to fuel you and sustain the lifestyle that you want. If you're a very active person, or if you start a new workout routine, you want to be able to fuel that routine or fuel your day, because you still have to go on with your full-time job, taking care of your kids, taking care of your home, and on top of that, taking care of yourself. So that's why less is not always better. When you're eating 1,200 calories, you don't have any room left to create a deficit into your diet. If you start there, where else are you going to go from? That is very little calories to be fueling yourself. You want to start at the highest so that you have room to create a calorie deficit as you go through your weight loss journey. So you always want to start with, you always want to figure out what your maintenance calories are, and then create that calorie deficit of either 250 calories or 500 calories. And if you guys want a video on how to calculate maintenance calories and create a calorie deficit, comment below and I'll be happy to create a video for you guys. But you want to be able to have the highest calorie deficit in order to be able to create that deficit as you're losing weight. So now let's talk about what are the macronutrients, how to build your meals. Your macronutrients, as I mentioned earlier, are your fats, carbs, and protein. And you want to be able to incorporate each macronutrient every meal that you have during the day. For protein, as a female, you want to be able to eat 1 pound of protein per pound. Okay, so if you are a female of 140 pounds, you want to at least eat 140 grams of protein per day. So what you'll do is divide 140 times the amount of meals that you will be eating. For example, if you're eating 3 meals, you'll divide 140 by 3. Or if you're eating 5 or 6 meals, you'll divide that by 5 or 6 meals. And that way you can incorporate that much protein in each meal. Because if you wait until the end to realize, wow, I didn't eat enough, you're gonna struggle to be able to eat all that protein in one meal at the end. So that is why it's so much easier to break it down throughout the day in order to get all the protein you need into your diet. And same goes with carbs and fats. You have to be able to break it out throughout the day so that you're not feeling like you're eating all your carbs in the morning or at lunch, and then by evening time you're trying to restrict yourself because you already ate them all during the day. Something I really recommend you to start doing is track your meals. Track your meals at least for 3 days. So I would track 3 days out of the week and see how much you're eating. What are you eating? How much protein you're eating? Or what micronutrients are you lacking? You will realize that is such a big eye-opener, because then you can start manipulating what are the food groups that you need to add into your diet and maybe reduce the macronutrients that you're eating more of. So you have to create that balance. I really love using a tracker to track, if I'm wanting to lean out, I will use a app to track the macronutrients that I'm eating. And that way I can create a calorie deficit from there. Many times too, if you're not someone that wants to track, that is perfectly okay. You can, build your meals, your breakfast, lunch, and dinner according to each food group, each macronutrient, adding, the protein, the carbs, and the fat into each meal. I will link in the description a sample meals. It comes with 7 breakfasts, 7 lunches, 7 dinners, and I believe it's 11 snack options for you to pick from. And it kind of gives you the idea of how to build some meals and how to create different options for yourself. I'm not a big fan of following a meal plan. I get pretty bored of eating the same thing over and over. So I love creating my own meals, and then just tracking the food that I'm eating. I also eat intuitively. I already know how much 3 to 4 ounces of chicken is, or 100 grams of rice, or how much cheese I can add into, my omelet. So that is also one good thing when you track food. It gives you the ability to be able to eyeball how much you're eating. You learn to recognize that without having to use a scale or use any measuring cups or any of it. So that is also one benefit of tracking your meals at the beginning when starting your fitness journey, because realistically, tracking for the rest of your life, it probably isn't realistic, because it's difficult and it gets overwhelming at times. So you want to be able to learn and eyeball the food that you're eating so that you can still eat in a calorie deficit when you're eating out, eating at a family gathering, or even picking up something on a drive-through. You know how to balance your meals even if you're not cooking the meal yourself. So I really hope this helps. If you have any questions in regards to building your meals or how to create that calorie deficit, comment below. I'll be happy to make another follow-up video to this one so that I can make your fitness journey so much easier and less stress, so that you can achieve the goals that you desire. Until next video, see you soon.